The story kicks off with a group of mercenaries preparing to capture a government official, Serge Schuster, at his home. As they make their move, Serge fights back, managing to take down one of the attackers before attempting to escape. But he's outnumbered. Just as he's about to be overpowered, one of the mercenaries shoots him with a tranquilizer dart. However, before they can secure him, something unexpected happens. Serge's unconscious body is suddenly dragged into a nearby warehouse by an unknown figure. Cautiously, the mercenaries follow, stepping inside to investigate. But they're ambushed. Their attacker? None other than the family's gardener. The story rewinds to earlier that day. A minister's aide is on a mission to deliver a crucial letter to the mercenaries. Everything seems to be going smoothly, until disaster strikes. The aide is caught in a sudden accident and is rushed to the hospital by medics. Meanwhile, we meet the leader of the mercenary group, a man named Didier Le Chevelu, accompanied by his two right-hand men, Moto and Ragnar. As they discuss their plans, Didier receives an urgent message. The minister's aide has been in an accident, but that's not all. He's also informed that the minister has ordered them to eliminate 5 high-ranking officials, one of whom is Serge Schuster. At that same time, Serge Schuster is at home, having a conversation with his wife. She's frustrated with their eldest daughter, Alice, who spends all her time singing in the garden and ignoring her younger sibling. Serge tries to reassure her, saying it's just a phase, teenagers can be difficult. Minutes later, Serge gets a call from an old friend, a doctor. The doctor tells him about the minister's aide's accident and mentions something strange. The aide was carrying a letter, a list of 5 officials, and Serge's name was on it. Serge, unaware of the danger, brushes it off as just another routine government matter. Outside, in the garden, Alice stumbles upon something unsettling. She secretly records the family's gardener, Leo, sharpening a knife. As she watches, Leo takes off his shirt, revealing numerous scars across his body. Before she can fully process what she's seen, she's startled to find Leo standing right behind her. She's shocked. Leo has been working for their family for 6 months, yet she knows nothing about him. Meanwhile, the doctor who warned Serge is unknowingly being hunted. Didier Le Chevelu and his men track him down, cornering him. Under pressure, the terrified doctor confesses. He only told one person about the list. That's all Didier needed to hear. He orders his men to eliminate the doctor before turning his attention back to the real target, Serge Schuster. Without hesitation, he mobilizes his team and heads straight for Serge's house. As night falls, the mercenaries arrive at Serge Schuster's secluded home, surrounding it from all angles. The attack is swift and brutal. Serge barely has time to react before he's hit with a tranquilizer dart. Inside the house, the mercenaries storm in and immediately shoot Alice with a dart as well. Serge, who had been in the bathroom, hears his daughter's scream. Panicked, he grabs a coat and rushes to help. He manages to take down one of the mercenaries, fighting desperately, but it's no use. He's outmatched and about to be captured. And then, out of nowhere, Leo, the quiet gardener, steps in. Moving with precision and deadly skill, he grabs Serge and pulls him to safety. Inside the house, several mercenaries cautiously move in, weapons ready, but they don't get far. From the shadows, Leo strikes, taking them down one by one before they can react. Meanwhile, Serge Schuster's wife has managed to hide their baby and is now crouched behind a closet, holding her breath. She stays completely still, hoping to avoid detection. But luck isn't on her side. A mercenary spots her hiding spot. She tries to fight back, but before she can do anything, another mercenary sneaks up behind her and shoots her with a tranquilizer dart. She collapses instantly. Moments later, the remaining mercenaries inside the house contact Didier Le Chevelu to report what's happened. The news is bad. Serge Schuster has been taken away by none other than Leo, the family's gardener. And it gets worse. Every mercenary who tried to stop Leo has been eliminated. Furious but determined, Didier orders his men to hold their positions while he, Ragnar, and Moto rush to the scene. Meanwhile, deep underground, Serge Schuster slowly regains consciousness. Leo, having just given him an adrenaline shot, watches as he jolts awake in a panic. The first thought that hits Serge, his wife and kids, are they alive? Were they killed? Leo quickly reassures him. The mercenaries likely only used tranquilizers and might be planning to execute them elsewhere. But time is running out. Desperate, Serge grabs his phone to call for help, but there's no signal. The mercenaries have cut off their internet access. They're completely isolated. Above them, Didier and his men have already arrived, searching the house for any sign of Serge. Sitting in the dim underground room, Serge Schuster finally connects the dots. The doctor's warning, the list of officials, it all makes sense now. The minister ordered the assassination of 5 key figures, including Serge, because they were potential candidates to replace him. This isn't just a political move, it's a death sentence. Now fully aware of the stakes, Serge turns to Leo and begs for his help. Without hesitation, Leo agrees. The two of them start gathering weapons and planning their next move. Carefully, Serge and Leo make their way outside, observing the mercenaries' movements. As they move through the garden, Leo notices something that makes his blood boil. The mercenaries are trampling over the plants he spent months caring for. That's the last straw. Without a second thought, he swiftly eliminates several of them. Then, moving like a shadow, he uses a wire to silently pull another mercenary into the darkness. Ragnar, sensing something's off, scans the area and suddenly spots a small boat speeding away in the distance. He immediately assumes Serge and Leo are on board and alerts Didier. Without wasting time, Didier orders his men to pursue the boat. But here's the catch, it's all a diversion. Serge and Leo never left. While Leo stands guard at the side door, Serge sneaks into the house, searching for an escape route. In one of the rooms, he stumbles upon something unexpected, the baby, hidden safely inside a ventilation shaft, fast asleep with headphones playing soft music. Just as he's about to leave with the baby, two mercenaries burst in. Before they can react, Leo appears out of nowhere and takes them down instantly. Their troubles aren't over yet. Seconds later, Ragnar storms into the room, leading to a brutal fight. As they struggle, the baby suddenly spits up on Ragnar's shirt, throwing him off for just a second. That's all Leo needs. With deadly accuracy, he hurls a knife straight at Ragnar. It hits its mark. With no time to waste, Leo tells Serge to grab the baby and run before more mercenaries arrive. The two retreat to the backyard storage shed, but as Serge looks around, his hope starts to fade. There's no way out. They're trapped, or so he thinks. Without a word, Leo moves to the back of the shed and reveals a hidden door leading to an underground tunnel. Serge stares in shock. How does Leo know about this? How does he know the house so well? That's when Leo finally reveals the truth. This house, the very one Serge has lived in for years, once belonged to Leo's father, until it was seized and sold. As night falls, the mercenaries sent after the decoy boat return empty-handed. They report to Didier Le Chevelu that the boat was unmanned, confirming it was just a diversion. Meanwhile, Ragnar, who miraculously survived his earlier encounter, approaches Didier, looking filthy and disheveled. Didier orders him to clean up before giving the next command, search for Serge Schuster and Leo. Back in the secret tunnel, Serge Schuster and Leo are hiding out. Leo notices that the baby needs a diaper change and asks Serge to hand over his coat. Leo plans to cut it up into pieces to make a makeshift diaper. As Leo works, Serge changes into an old uniform he finds, a uniform that belonged to Leo's father, who had been a soldier since 1943. What Serge doesn't realize is that this uniform was once worn by a high-ranking Nazi officer. By this time, Serge's wife and daughter Alice have regained consciousness. Though the maid is still under the effects of the tranquilizer, Didier Le Chevelu and Ragnar approach, demanding to know Leo's true identity. Terrified, Alice finally reveals Leo's real name. Ragnar immediately starts searching for information online, but finds that Leo's records are classified, confirming he's no ordinary man. Hours later, one of the mercenaries informs Didier that a hidden tunnel has been found. Didier rushes to the site and becomes convinced that Serge and Leo are hiding inside. He orders Moto to lead a team into the tunnel and flush them out. Meanwhile, Serge presses Leo for answers about his true identity. Leo simply replies that he's just a gardener who loves plants. Not long after, Leo realizes that the mercenaries have found their hiding spot. He instructs Serge to secure the baby while he prepares to face the mercenaries head-on. A fierce battle breaks out, and Leo squares off against Moto, the mercenaries' ruthless right-hand man. During the fight, Serge tries to help but accidentally shoots Leo with a tranquilizer dart. This gives Moto the chance to close in on Serge, ready to finish him off. But Leo, using the last of his strength, takes down Moto and saves Serge. After subduing him, Leo injects himself with adrenaline to counter the tranquilizer's effects. He urges Serge to hurry toward the end of the tunnel, which leads into the forest. Meanwhile, Moto, though injured, manages to make his way back to Didier. He reports that the gardener is no ordinary man. He's highly skilled, likely a trained operative. Now in the forest, Serge finally demands to know who Leo really is. With no choice left, Leo opens up. He reveals that he's a former German Special Forces operative who grew up surrounded by Nazi soldiers. His father, a cruel Nazi colonel, was never close to him. Leo explains that his father was brutal, even killing his own mother. Serge is stunned by the revelation. The gardener he had underestimated was not just a Special Forces operative, but the son of a Nazi officer. Elsewhere, Moto and Ragnar fire their guns into the air under Didier's orders, trying to intimidate Serge and Leo into surrendering. The gunshots echo through the forest, and Serge and Leo respond using a handheld radio. Didier coldly informs them that every 15 minutes, he will execute one of Serge's family members unless they surrender. The maid, who has just regained consciousness, mistakenly believes the mercenaries are robbers. In a panic, she starts offering up information about Serge's money and valuables. Didier, unfazed, repeats his threat. If Serge and Leo don't surrender, his family will die one by one every 15 minutes. Terrified, the maid, who knows she isn't really family, blurts out that she isn't part of the Schuster family. Annoyed by her outburst, Didier drags her outside and executes her without hesitation. He then announces over the radio that only Serge's wife and daughter remain. Determined to save his family, Serge Schuster injects himself with adrenaline and urges Leo to go back to the house with him. In his mind, he charges into the house alone, taking down Didier Le Chevelu and his lieutenants in a heroic display of strength. But in reality, he hasn't moved. He's still standing beside beside Leo, paralyzed by fear and hesitation. Meanwhile, Ragnar uncovers classified information about Leo's true identity and quickly shares it with Moto. Both men are stunned by what they learn. Moto immediately reports it to Didier, who takes a look but remains unimpressed. Shrugging off the revelation, he orders Ragnar to continue patrolling the perimeter. As Ragnar moves through the garden, he's suddenly ambushed by Leo. But there's a problem. Leo is carrying the baby, making it difficult to fight effectively. Ragnar quickly gains the upper hand, aiming his weapon directly at Leo and the child. Just as he's about to pull the trigger, Serge Schuster appears from behind and takes Ragnar down, saving them both. With Ragnar out of the way, Serge and Leo press forward toward their final target, Didier Le Chevelu. Without hesitation, Leo challenges Didier to a hand-to-hand fight. Winner lives, loser dies. Amused, Didier smirks and accepts, revealing a shocking truth. He and Leo were once part of the same elite special forces unit. As the fight begins, Didier confesses something he's held onto for years. He was always jealous of Leo. Among their comrades, Leo was respected, admired. Meanwhile, Didier was overlooked, never given the same recognition. Now, he finally has a chance to prove himself. The battle is intense, but Leo gradually gains the upper hand. He corners Didier, ready to finish him off, but just as victory seems certain, Didier makes a desperate move, reaching for a small pistol hidden in his boot. He aims it at Leo. Seeing the gun, Leo freezes, accepting his fate. Then, a gunshot. Didier staggers and collapses. But it wasn't Leo who pulled the trigger. It was Moto. He turned against his leader. Wasting no time, Leo moves in and quickly takes down Moto before he can change his mind. With the mercenaries defeated, Leo injects himself with adrenaline to counteract the tranquilizer's effects and urges Serge to follow him. Their escape route leads to the underground tunnel. One final path to freedom. 30 minutes later, Serge's family is on their way to the city, unaware that danger is far from over. Meanwhile, Leo, busy restoring order to the garden, makes a disturbing discovery. Phoebus's body is missing. This can only mean one thing. He's still alive and after Serge's family. Without hesitation, Leo jumps on a motorcycle, speeding through the forest to intercept him. His suspicions are confirmed when he spots Phoebus in pursuit, leading to a high-speed chase. Phoebus nearly forces Serge's car to stop, but Serge skillfully swerves at the last second. He fires several shots, just as Leo arrives. Leo knocks Phoebus off his motorcycle, but when he checks the vehicle, it's empty. Phoebus has vanished. Suddenly, he reappears, weapon drawn, aiming straight at Leo. Seeing Leo cornered, Serge steps out and challenges Phoebus to a duel. As Phoebus momentarily lowers his guard, Leo strikes, ending the fight for good. Days later, news breaks of the minister's arrest, the mastermind behind the mercenary attack. Meanwhile, Leo enjoys a quiet moment, trimming the plants in the garden. But just as he begins to relax, a gunshot echoes in the distance.